Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Well, this is the review about brand new kit that I just took right now, and is a preview. So it's probably still not that you cannot find ready available for sale. I honestly don't know because I take it directly from the KMP company, visiting them directly. So I just took this model to make a review and of course to make a build up of a decent model, of a nice model of this interesting Huracan GT3 Evo version. It's anyway the first edition of the Huracan, so it's the car that started to race in 2019. And why do I say that I don't know if it is ready for sale or not? Because this is anyway a sample that I wanted to keep in advance, to be able to make a kit review of something that I don't think is so common to see quite often around YouTube channels. This is a kit that have been developed completely in after a 3D designing, and as you can see, I have a couple of racing parts because, of course, being a test, basically, this is a test shot of the final production. I had the possibility to take a little spare part, that is probably something that it's a kind of issue that you will not have in the final version of the kit. I already prepared the model, cleaning all the parts because it's basically it's featuring a lot of detailed parts coming from 3D printing. The KMP is a company making 3D parts, and the very minor part that indeed are some of the most important around the racing cast. As you can see here, I already prepared one body, and I had the possibility to take a second one, half of it, not for some special reason, but just to see if there was some different issues. This is test shot, so it's probably something that you will not find in these versions, in the final product. This is just a preview to show what's going what's going on with the model. As I said, probably you already seen some pictures about this Huracan around, and I am planning to finish this model in the classic green version, the typical green Huracan racing. I think Cup 2 or 3 years ago now we've seen them all over, quite famous. It was a car that had in reality a fantastic sound, so it's something really, really kind of masterpiece to have in the collection. And I already prepared the body. This is just a temporary fixing just to show the final look of the overall item, and there is a very, very high level and very big number of details printed in this racing test. And of course there is some minor issues about the racing parts, but it's nothing so dramatic that you can absolutely fix by your own. So this is something that absolutely will come to a beautiful end and become something extremely nice. There is also this decision that they had to provide also the opening door, plus of course the open trunk for the engine, which they provide completely done. You see here. This is surely coming from a 3D mold, directly from the printer, as well as the yellow part is anyway an ordinary classic resin cast. So my box here is just temporary indeed for the resin part, but the overall quality is absolutely good. And as you can see, there is so many details that you can add in this model. Note that my model still don't have inside the decal sheet and neither the instruction sheet, because it's a temporary edition. It's just a preview that I had to do this video. And also here you can see the final part of the trunk, that of course has have a net here, so that it's not that you follow basically all the picture and the images that you can find around about the Huracan GT3, and there is plenty of images about the version. Also, for the same reason, I had the double doors. You see there is a little slightly different quality of the resin, so I had to test which is the best one, but I think both are really good one. And the level of detail is absolutely extreme. They went really forward with the level of detailing, because also, for example, the handle is made in the position that you can make it open. So if you want to go for a ultra highly level of detailing, you can absolutely do with this type of model. What to say, as you can see here, I give a final assembly It is still not the cleaned parts, you know, because I just spent my time in cleaning this body, and also that body is already cleaned, so I will just choose which is the best one to be used for this purpose, you know. And I probably plan to do everything in a closed position, you know, because I don't like personally so much to show the open doors, even if I think he also provide, I say he because the guy from the KMP is a friend, and so I call him by his name, but it's the company, of course. And they provide also the hinges for this detail of the door, so it will be possible to make it open and close it. But I personally don't like the models where you can go touch back and forth, because in the long distance you usually end with some braking failures and so on. What is absolutely noticeable to see is about the raising quality mostly of the 3D parts. That is quite common to have a wrinkled part. Instead, as you can see, indeed, also in the small details, they are quite straight. You know, there is of course something that you can increase, something that you can make it better, but it's absolutely at the level of a top-notch model kit, you know. That is the interior roll cage. It will be said because at the end of the assembly, even if I will surely leave the engine door, probably with some magnets available to be opened to see what's inside, I don't think that it will be so much more stuff visible inside this model, you know, as well as for the cockpit, despite I can add the basic details, you know. So of course a nice, see, there is already everything inside the kit, really is a completely full kit, you know. And just add the seat belts and the buckles, and you can do everything you want basically with this. But usually the colors inside the model racing Lambos, like for Porsches and Ferrari, they are constantly black over black over black over carbon fiber that is black, so mostly is a different shade of black, and you cannot see so much inside this type of supercars racing, even less in the racing version. As you can see, also the part of the front bar, you know, is completely respected as in the real car. Over here you will have the dashboard, and you will not see so much of the inner roll cage, but it is present, you know, it has been made, you know, so there is really everything you need for a proper super detailing of this. And if you are a Lambo lover, this is absolutely something you have to go with and ask the company if it is already available for sale or not, because it was a question of some weeks. I remember when I get this model, I wanted badly to have this model and proceed with the building in the very near future, you know. As you can see, everything is temporary here with tape and so on, so no wonder if I can take everything away. You see, this is just a temporary fixing. Also the final end is not so bad. In mine is clearly visible a bulge under there, but it is not big issue, you know. This is something that you can find basically in every kind of racing kit, you know. And the overall look is absolutely well taken, you know. Remember that is straight coming from the 3D body shell of the kit that have been already presented in several forums and several social media pages, you know. I think that the company didn't went on for a massive production of the entire body shell made in 3D, mostly because if you go for bigger parts in 3D, mostly they are a little bit unreliable in the time, so they really are sensitive to temperature, to conditions and so on. So it's very easy that maybe after traveling and so on you will have some problems in the wrinkling of the model. So to keep it straight is a little bit complicated and a little more difficult than to keep it straight ordinary racing. But of course this is a more expensive production, you know. The company didn't add probably the volunteer to look at something cheaper, so they went really for the hardest way ever to provide the best detail that you probably can achieve. That is parts of the decal, you know, is basically for the interior parts, so the steering wheel and some details of the dashboard and the cockpit, Lamborghini logo, GT3 logos. And I am currently still waiting for the last parts. I have part of the decals, you know, is just a kind of leftover after some test, because also they wanted to test the different level of quality decal by different printing systems. So it's something that will be going on. For this, you know, this is constantly a tricky part, as we seen in the Alpha Model mod kits. It's about the windshield. We are lucky that you see that they created also a kind of vinyl texture over the end of the upper side of the front windshield, and really nicely made detailed decal sheet about the headers of the Lamborghini motor. So it's absolutely well done, as well as that cage that is the part protecting the head of the pilot, in this version, so with a little net that you can connect to the roll cage and so on. So it's really really well engineered, this part. The model is absolutely, in my opinion, a masterpiece. So it's something that you are absolutely, if you like GT3 cars and if you like this type of models, you have absolutely to try contact the company and see if they are available so for sale, because he had a great request, and the few one that he already made were a bestseller and nearly were sold in a blast. So it was not something that you can find constantly available. I think if you are interested in this type of model, just drop a mail to the guy making them, and he will tell you something mostly about the timing, that you have to wait to have something like this. Negative points, what can it be? A negative point is just, in my opinion, that the model is in a way referred to a previous version of the actual Lamborghini GT3 racing at today. If you look the images and the video of the today racing, today 2024 car, they are slightly different. It's just mostly cosmetical parts, so the side skirt became different, some of the minor part of the external body became updated and upgraded in the Evo. In the following Evo should be the Evo 2 of this car, and mostly you can recognize, because mostly over the rear hood they have a different fin. Some of them have the longer fin, some of them have an higher intake, so basically the car is constantly the same. So I think in the future will be absolutely possible for them to convert this model and modify just the external shell to be adapted in the modern version of the Evo. So something is absolutely in progress and going on with this type of mold. Just remember that when I say him, the company, we are talking of one-man company. So every time we are related to one single guy with a minor help, I am part of this help, because if I can do something for them to be part of the game, especially on a model that I personally like it a lot. I like all the GT3 cars, the Ferrari, the Porsche and so on, so I nearly have a quite decent collection of modern GT3 racer in 24 scale. So that's it. My point is, if you really are interested in this one, try to keep in touch with the guy, KMP Production, and a very kindly guy, and you can absolutely rely on him and ask everything you want about the availability of this item that still today I don't know if it is ready or not. I know that he made some for a recent exhibition that we made in Giabeke, so he had some models to be sold there, and I think that there is a lot of interesting about this model, as well as we have for the other GTs in this case. Of course, just the Ferrari for the royalty issues, as I said in another of my videos, is just a little bit tricky and more complicated, but there is the possibility to have this model, of course, without switching to a slot car company making just the body shell, and then you have to arrange by your own all the inner parts. So everything is possible, but it's absolutely not so easy to do. The quality is typical from KMP, and they also provide, you see, all the front suspension. There is really a lot of details that probably when the model will be completed they will be not possible absolutely to be seen, but anyway, the detail is provided, so it's just up to the fantasy of the model and to your personal tasting. What do you want to show up and how do you want to look at the final model? In my opinion, those are mighty models when you can see the shape of a wonderful car as Lambo is. So my point would be anyway to keep the shape of the Lamborghini, to have the possibility to see every time the beautiful line of this model, and maybe in the most classical and of course absolutely obvious bright green colored livery that we have seen in so many races and in so many video games. This is another another toy coming from Assetto Corsa Competizione simulator game, video game. So it's something that if you play Assetto Corsa Competizione, you absolutely will love the mighty Lambo, that is still one of the most competitive car ever in the game. That's it, guys. So my opinion is absolutely grab it if you like it. Don't wait for it. The risk is only that you will miss it, and that would be just sad, because you miss one of the nicest racer currently available in 1/24 scale. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.